Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham. If you have a comment, email it to me, box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and become one of our friends on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Detectives. Our listener support campaign continues. You can become one of our ongoing Patreon supporters for as little as $2 per month. Go to patreon.greatdetectives.net. This is at support.greatdetectives.net. And I want to go ahead and thank Abdur for sending along a donation that way. You can also use the Zelle app to go to box13@greatdetectives.net. And I'd like to thank Robert for sending a donation that way. You can also mail in a donation to Adam Graham, P.O. Box 15913, Boise, Idaho 83715. And during our listener support campaign, if you send along a donation of $20 or more, we'll be happy to send you one of my ebooks, including All I Needed to Know I Learned from Columbo or Learned from Dragnet, which examines the careers and histories of. Send that along to you with a donation of $20 or more. For a donation of $25 or more, we'll send you a Colonial Radio Theater audio play, one of the ones that we've listed, including their great Father Brown and Perry Mason plays. They also have a couple of Zorro plays, or King Solomon's Mines. There's so many great productions that Colonial's put out, and we'll happily send you one with a donation of $25 or more. I also want to call your attention to some Sherlock Holmes audio dramas from Big Finish that are available on CD, and I can get them at a discount as long as they're in print, as Big Finish is not going to be pressing anymore and just selling them as discounts. And those are available between $50 and $75. You can get the reification of Hans Gerber or the Perfidious Mariner for $50, and the Hound of the Baskervilles at a donation of $75. This is really one of those as supplies last deals because they are going out of print. So if you're interested in that, send a donation and I will make sure that that the one you want is available. Full list of available thank you gifts are at support.greatdetectives.net. Now it's time for today's episode of Rocky Jordan. The original air date on this one is October the 16th of 1949, and this one is The Quest for Traneeneh.
Buy wisely. Buy for flavor. Buy Del Monte. Del Monte, the brand you trust for flavor in so many good foods. Time now for Rocky Jordan, brought to you by Del Monte Foods, the brand preferred by more women than any other line of canned fruits and vegetables in the world. Not far from the Mosque Sultan Hassan in Cairo stands the Cafe Tambourine, run by Rocky Jordan. The Cafe Tambourine, crowded with forgotten men, alive with the babble of many languages. For this is Cairo, where modern adventure and intrigue unfold against the backdrop of antiquity. Del Monte presents Rocky Jordan and this week's story, Quest for Traneeneh.
If you ever plan a trip to Cairo, take my tip and read up on a few things. How to keep off the streets during the Muezzins' call. They're a devout people. How to leave your dogs at home. They don't like them. And most important of all, when you see a native woman, don't look the second time. Me, I learned a lot of things the hard way, and I never forgot them. Which goes to explain what I was up against that evening as I left a vegetable mart in the native quarter of South Cairo. I'd ordered a few items for delivery to my cafe and was making my way along a narrow street walled by an ancient abandoned dwelling toward the main thoroughfare. There was no place for a foreigner after dark, so I stepped it up. And about then I heard it. Then I saw her, a young, beautiful native girl without the veil, running wildly toward me. Coming fast close behind was a rough-bearded native with a scar on his right cheek. In another second, he had a hold of her, dragging her back.
No, I beg you. I'm helpless.
It was way too rough for my blood, so I started moving in. He clung to the struggling girl and turned to face me.
Go your way, infidel.
Now, let's all break it up, Buster. She wants my help.
Oh, is the kelp so stupid? Remove your eyes from her now before they bring evil.
Sorry. Mashallah.
That is better. Now the Inglese will be gone.
Just as soon as you explain who she is and what this is all about.
I explain nothing. It is an affair of the family,
No.
an affair of my people.
No, let me go, please.
Silence, say nothing.
Since when do your people go dragging girls through the streets?
It is an affair not for one of your kind. It is of the family, I say.
Effendi, please, take me from him, please.
Back from the sight of this man.
Hey, listen, you.
So, the infidel persists.
Come well equipped, don't you?
It is the knife for such as you who lack wisdom.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't impress me.
Then it will be used quickly, and you will be picked up from the gutter as one who did not realize that the ways of the East are not those of the West. Well, Inglese?
Yeah, you can put the knife away.
It is well. You will put you have seen of this family affair from your mind, or else you will learn that for us death comes cheaply. Leltak, Saida!
No, in the name of Allah!
So I just stood watching as he took her away screaming and out of sight. The big trouble was that what the guide said was right. It wasn't my affair. Not here in Cairo. The best thing was to keep it that way. I kept telling myself that as I went back to my tambourine, as I tried to sleep that night, until I picked up the early edition of the Cairo Mail the next morning. Yeah, what the headlines didn't tell me, the picture below did. It was the face of the native girl. I read only a little way down. Traneeneh, daughter of Emil Falak Bey, reported missing. Abduction feared. Reward offered for information. Right away, I was in at my office phone, putting in a call for Captain Sam Sabaya of the Cairo police. He wasn't there, so I knew where I'd find him, and I headed for the home of Falak Bey. It was a large white house in the spacious Sharia El Din. In front was parked Sabaya's black limousine, and at the gate a couple of uniformed men, assisted by several house servants, were trying to hold back an excited crowd claiming information and seeking the reward. I started pushing my way through.
No one enters the home of Falak Bey.
Well, I'm going in.
I warn you, sir.
Keep them back from the gate.
It is most difficult, Captain Sabaya. This man makes trouble.
Jordan, Ahmed, let him enter the car.
Your command, Captain. Ah, sir.
Thanks.
Jordan, come over here by the fountain. And what brings you to this place, Jordan?
You know it's important or I wouldn't be here, Sam.
Please be brief. I have grave matters at hand.
It's about the girl, Traneeneh.
Oh, come into the house, quickly.
Yeah.
In here, Jordan.
Who comes now to my troubled house, Captain Sabaya?
His name is Jordan Falak Bey. He says that he brings word of Traneeneh.
But what would he, a foreigner, know of my daughter?
Only what I saw, Falak Bey. Over near the native vegetable mart. A man dragging her away.
No, it is not possible.
Continue, Jordan. You are sure that she was the daughter of this man?
She's the same that I saw in the papers this morning.
You saw her dragged away, and what did you do?
Nothing.
Nothing, Jordan?
What do you expect, Sam? She's a native girl. I understood it was a family affair, and they left me out.
A family affair? Who would tell you this thing?
The guy who was holding her. He made real sure I stayed out of it.
Please describe him.
Oh, he had a lot of crooked teeth, heavy beard, except for a knife scar from his chin through his right ear.
Do you know who this could be, Falak Bey?
I know of no such man.
Jordan, can you be sure of this?
Looked right into his face. I'd recognize it anywhere.
Sabaya Bey, can you not see that Jordan is like the others who come only for reward but know nothing?
Let's get this straight, Falak Bey. I'm not here for money.
Just a moment, please. Now, exactly when did all this occur?
Late yesterday evening.
Jordan, you mean to tell me that you saw a girl abducted on the streets of Cairo many hours ago, and yet you wait until this minute to tell me?
Oh, Sam, we've been over this before. You've made it clear the ways of the East aren't like mine, that native affairs are not my concern.
Yes, I will confess that I have, Jordan. However...
All right. Maybe I should have done something this time. Believe me, if I'd known who the girl was and that she was in real danger.
I do not accuse you. Is there more to tell?
No, that's everything. I'm in it now, Sam. I'll square it somehow.
No, Jordan. I suggest that for your own safety, you now return to your tambourine and think no more of this.
You know I can't do that.
It is an affair for the police, Jordan.
Please, say no more. There is no truth in Jordan's story. Can you not see?
Falak Bey, I quite understand how you feel. However,
My lovely Traneeneh. She whom I brought to womanhood, hoping that she would marry into good station and bring me joy. Now she is gone.
Well, there's plenty we can do about this.
I beg you, Captain, take him away. Let this man torment me no more.
So I got out. I didn't blame Pollock Bay so much for how he felt. Only myself now. I pushed my way through the crowd at the gate and up the Shari El Din. I walked along the busy street trying to think of my next move and what I could do about Traneeneh. All at once, I had company. A young, muscular fellow with a determined face who crowded in close.
I have valuable jewels, Effendi. They must go for a quick price.
Not interested. Hala yatik.
Precious diamonds, a bargain quickly made. If you would step to a quiet spot.
No jewels, buddy. Now beat it.
To dispose of them in Cairo would be dangerous for me, but you, an American, could get a fine price in Chicago or New Orleans or perhaps St. Louis.
Yeah. All right, I'll play along. Let's go. All right, this is far enough. Let's see the diamonds.
There are no diamonds.
I didn't think so. I'll get to the point.
I will ask you only one thing, Mr. Jordan.
You know a lot already. My name and where I'm from.
Oh, many know of you, Mr. Jordan. I had only to inquire.
All right, tell me some more, including the name.
It is Gerard, though not important.
Then what is it?
I would learn what you know of Traneeneh.
Ask a certain guy with crooked teeth and a split ear.
This is no time for a jest, Mr. Jordan.
All right, Gerard. Get it out in the open. Why all the secrecy?
It is best for the present that I not be seen with you.
Why? Just where do you fit in?
I cannot tell you. As yet, I do not know of your part in this affair, or how you came by what you say you know. At the moment, my interest is only in Traneeneh.
You got some ideas what happened to her?
It is possible that I have. Speak now, Mr. Jordan. Tell me what you know, and we will go in peace.
And if I don't, what then?
You ask for threats, but I give none. Only rest assured that I will stop at nothing. Think of this, Mr. Jordan. Nothing.
Gerard suddenly turned and walked toward the street without looking back. I gave him just enough lead, and as he turned onto the Shari El Din, I started after him, figuring to do a tailing job. What I'd seen in his eyes made me sure that he meant what he said, about stopping at nothing. I had a stake in Traneeneh's welfare now, and Gerard was a good place to begin. As I stepped into the street, I glanced around for the sight of Gerard, and I didn't go any farther. Sandstone rock sprayed my face as the bullet struck the wall not 2 inches away. I dived back rolling. There I hugged the dirt of the alley, waiting for it to come again. Nothing happened. I got up, moved carefully along the wall back to the street. The shots had scattered the passers-by, but now they were returning, crowding in to see what had happened, chattering and pushing in. There was a sea of faces, but nowhere the face I wanted. Gerard was gone.
Del Monte Foods is presenting tonight's adventure with Rocky Jordan. Question: what is the zestiest, liveliest catsup that ever pepped up a meal?
Answer: Del Monte ketchup, of course. There's nothing like it for hearty, satisfying flavor.
And the big secret of that flavor is pineapple vinegar. Take the very best plump, red, vine-ripened tomatoes, the kind Del Monte uses, add specially ground spices and herbs, blend them all together with pineapple vinegar, and what do you have? Why, Del Monte catsup. A catsup that just can't be topped for flavor. A catsup that's livelier, zestier, and more satisfying. You see, pineapple vinegar coaxes all the best flavor from the other ingredients. Catsup experts agree. The finer the vinegar, the better the catsup flavor. And pineapple vinegar is an exceptionally fine vinegar. Only Del Monte makes it. Only Del Monte has it.
Del Monte ketchup is my standby. It brings out the flavor of plain foods like no other ketchup you ever tried.
Look for Del Monte catsup at your grocer's. We know you'll like it. Try it soon, and before long, you'll join other satisfied users in saying,
Del Monte ketchup is my favorite. It has such marvelous flavor.
And now we take you back to Cairo, and tonight's Rocky Jordan story, Quest for Traneeneh.
Call it what you will, good sense or bad judgment. I watched the abduction of the lovely Traneeneh without lifting a finger. It looked like a family affair, and that's something foreigners like me keep out of. Now, Traneeneh was gone, and plenty of people were looking for her, including a determined young guy named Gerard. This time, it had to take more than some gunshots thrown my way to keep me out of it. My number one lead was the character who had dragged her away. Easy to remember for the knife scar from his chin through his right ear. So I threw a few piastres around for some new leads and spent the rest of the day running down men with split ears. I found plenty of them, but not the one I wanted. It was well after dark when I finally walked back toward my tambourine. Just as I got to the door, a little one-eyed character studied his faded fez in my face.
A hasty word with you, Effendi.
Make it quick, Buster.
I would reveal something most interesting, but for a small fee.
Tell me all about it.
But the bargain, Effendi.
All right, here. My last 3 piastres.
Oh, it is so little. But if you truly say that there is no more...
There's more when I get the information. Come on, hurry it up.
This way, sir. Quickly.
Man, where are we going?
Come, follow, please. I will show you.
He led me through the winding streets, skirting the Solomon Pasha Square, then off into the native quarter. From there on, I knew anything could happen, and I was ready for it. In front of a building that should have been condemned before Napoleon took Egypt, the little guy stopped, beckoned me, and went in. He took me up some creaking steps. At the top, he pointed to a door, hesitated only long enough for me to throw him another coin. Then he was gone. I tried the door. It opened. Nothing happened, so I moved into the darkness inside, feeling for a light switch. I couldn't find one, so I slid along the wall till I reached the window. I tugged on a battered shade, and it did the rest. The moonlight came in, and that's when I found the man with a scar and a split ear. He was sprawled on the floor, and he wasn't pleasant to look at. From the looks of the room, there hadn't been much of a fight. He'd gotten the knife from behind. I scratched around without finding anything more, and I was back down the steps and out of the native quarter the quickest way. In another couple of minutes, I had Sabaya on the phone.
Jordan, I've been calling your tambourine. Where have you been?
Oh, I'll write you a memo, Sam. Now, listen.
I trust you are well, Jordan.
Did you think different?
I could not be sure in the light of what I have found.
Keep it up, Sam. Get to the point.
Regarding the man whom you described as the abductor of Traneeneh, would you say he is of medium height, black beard, crooked teeth, green eyes, and a scar on his right cheek?
Yeah, that's the guy. Who is he?
His name is Bantar. He is known as a vicious man, one who kills for a price and without mercy.
Are you sure?
That, Jordan, is the man you allowed to escape with the daughter of Farak Bey. A family affair indeed.
All right, Sam, sure. What about the girl?
I will be quite frank with you. We have no trace of her.
Thanks.
Incidentally, why did you call me?
It's about Bantar. You can find him now.
What? I do not understand.
Hunt up an old place at the corner of Gama and Haran. Room 201. He's all yours.
A moment, Jordan. What are you trying to tell me?
Don't get excited, Sam. He won't go away. Well, I'd found Bantar, but there was still Traneeneh. And I had nothing. Nothing except Gerard. He had some ideas, but it was time he told me. So I began again. There was a chance that Falak Bey might know of him. So I went back to the White Mansion on the Sharia El Din and in through the court. This time, nobody at all was around to stop me. The house was dark, but I kept rapping the big knocker, and finally the door was open. I was greeted by Falak Bey himself.
Who disturbs the sorrow of my house?
It's Jordan. I've got to see you for a minute.
Oh, my good Fendi, Jordan. A moment. I will come into the court with you.
I'm sorry to bother you, Falak Bey, but...
No, it is good that you came. Now, before Allah, I can ask your forgiveness.
For what?
When this morning you described to me the man who took my daughter, I was beside myself with anxiety and did not believe.
You believe me now?
Yes. Now that Sabaya Bey has told me that there truly is such a man. What you said was true. Traneeneh is in the hands of Bantar, the killer.
No, not anymore, she isn't.
Mr. Jordan, what do you mean?
Bantar's dead.
Dead?
I just saw him. Somebody's knife did it.
So, now what more hope can there be? My daughter is no more.
But you can't be sure of that, Falak Bey.
Please, no. You try only to soften my despair. It is of no avail. You have done enough now, my good Effendi.
Listen, does the name Gerard mean anything to you?
Gerard?
Young guy. Pretty husky, stubborn.
So, it is the troublemaker again. Why do you ask of him?
Well, he's plenty anxious to know what I saw. Falak Bey, we may not have much time. You've got to tell me about him.
He is only the rash youth who chanced to see my daughter on the streets. Quickly, he came to me asking for her hand in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
He was not for her. He wanted only her wealth. Repeatedly, I drove him from my door.
Maybe he had something to do with her abduction.
Why, it is indeed possible.
There's a chance he'll come for you next.
Mr. Jordan, I am an old man. My welfare is nothing.
I've got to find Gerard quick.
Please, no, it is not right that you, not of my people, should endanger your life.
Don't worry about me.
Go in peace now, my Effendi. I return now into my house, alone. Traneeneh was all I had. There are not even relatives to mourn with me in my grief. Allah be with you.
I went back out through the court and the gate and took a few steps down the walk. There, for some reason, I hesitated. I'd seen fear as well as grief in Falak Bey's eyes. Right then, I didn't blame him. But something wasn't straight. I stood looking back, and that's when I saw a silent figure crawl from a low window at the side toward the back of the house. I held it till he hit the ground, and then I was after him. He saw me coming too late and whirled away just as I hit him head on. He went down with the wind knocked out of him. I reached inside his coat, found a knife, brought it out with a fistful of papers, threw them away. I began to drag him up. He came too fast. His open hand caught me flat across the ear. Bells began ringing, so we had it out toe to toe. This was sort of out of his line, and all at once he went down again. All right, get up, Gerard. Come on, get up.
I need no help.
What are you doing in that house?
I told you that I would stop at nothing.
I believe that much.
I will only ask you again what you know of Traneeneh.
Cut it, Gerard. It's too late. I'm asking now.
I still know nothing of you, Mr. Jordan.
Who is there? Answer at once.
Falak Bey. Look who I caught crawling out your window.
Gerard, in my house.
I warned you'd be around.
It was not my purpose to harm the Falak Bey.
All right, supposing you clear it up. You had a lot of ideas about what happened to Traneeneh. Let's hear them.
I will speak no more to either of you. Do with me what you will.
Well, that was all for Gerard. From then on, he closed up tighter than the cap on a bottle of Coke. I sat him down on a bench in the court while Falak Bey called headquarters. The noise had roused the neighborhood, and they crowded around as Sabai and his men showed up. I explained all that had happened, promised to be down to see him later. Then they took Gerard away. Falak Bey said goodnight, begged the people to return to their beds, and went back alone into the house. I turned to leave, and the crowd faded away, all but one kindly-faced Egyptian at the gate.
It is most sad, is it not?
Yeah.
The most noble Falak Bey, the man of many troubles, alone in his house of sorrow.
Sure tough.
And no one to mourn with him for the lovely Traneeneh. She whom he loved as his own.
I went on down the street then, still trying to fit everything together. Maybe Sam would get more out of Gerard, but there was still Traneeneh. I was wondering if Falak Bey was right about it being too late, and if not, what could be done. When all at once it sunk in, what I'd just been told. Things were suddenly falling into place, and I was running back the way I'd come. As I approached the big White House, I remembered something else, and I hurried around to the side. The papers I'd pulled out of Gerard's pocket were still scattered around. I picked them up. A couple of matches later, I'd found out everything I wanted. Now there wasn't a second to lose. I got around to the window Gerard had used. Climbed in. I just cut on a light when I saw Falak Bey coming down the stairs from the balcony to the upper quarters. I met him halfway.
Mr. Jordan, what does this mean?
We both know, Falak. Get out of my way.
Oh, I will not. You will not desecrate my house. Back, infidel.
Oh, what are you scared of?
It is not fear.
Maybe it's what I'll find up here, huh?
The upper floors are for no man. Do not enter the door.
Yeah, I'm going in.
I command you, do not enter.
There she was, Traneeneh, struggling wildly at the bonds which held her. Her mouth gagged, her eyes holding stark terror. I turned and saw Falak fumbling in his pocket for a knife or a gun. I swung and I drove him back with all I had. He staggered through the door, hit the balcony rail, and went over. And then it was silent. I was back then at Traneeneh's side, loosening the bonds and taking the gag from her mouth and trying to calm her fears.
He was going to kill me. I know not why, but he was going to kill me.
Easy, Traneeneh. You're free now. Everything's all right.
Oh, please, take me away. Take me away from this house, I beg you.
I will, Traneeneh. Get your breath now, and I will.
You are the Inglese who saw them taking me from the streets.
That's right. Took me a long time to catch on.
And you are the only one who found that I was here?
You sound a little disappointed.
But no, Effendi. I thank you for my life, but was there none other?
Tell me his name.
It is Gerard.
I thought so. Gerard did everything he could, Traneeneh. Come on. We'll go to him.
In just a moment, Rocky Jordan returns to conclude tonight's story.
Fresh tasting,
natural tasting,
and refreshing.
That's just what tomato juice should be, and it's just exactly what Del Monte tomato juice is. Fresh tasting, natural tasting, and refreshing. To start the day right in the morning, for a pick-me-up any time during the day, or as a perfect mealtime appetizer, there's nothing like a chilled glass of Del Monte tomato juice. That rich tomato flavor, tasting just as fresh and natural as a tomato picked right off the vine, really hits the spot. Yes, for real satisfaction, there's nothing like a chilled glass of Del Monte tomato juice. Try it. With your first sip, you'll think,
"Hey, this is good."
Del Monte tomato juice is fresh tasting.
And with the second sip, you'll say,
"Mighty good."
Del Monte tomato juice is natural tasting.
Then you'll drink it down because
it really hits the spot.
Del Monte tomato juice is so refreshing.
Remember, for fresh, natural, refreshing tomato flavor, it's Del Monte tomato juice every time. Keep several cans handy in the refrigerator. Now back to Rocky Jordan and the conclusion of tonight's story.
Well, one quick look told me that Frolic Bay was now only a problem for the coroner. Not long after that, I created something of a sensation when I walked into headquarters with Traneeneh. Gerard was still under a technical charge of housebreaking, but he was released from his cell and brought to the office where Traneeneh, Sam, and I waited. She was quickly in his arms.
Gerard, oh, darling.
Traneeneh, praise Allah, you are safe and well.
And you, Gerard, what of you?
Oh, have no fear for me or us. Soon I will return to your side forever.
Gerard.
Now, if I may have your attention, we will clear up a few matters. Jordan.
Yeah, it looks like Gerard was way ahead of us, Sam. He suspected things weren't right with Frolic Bay, and he entered his house to prove it. These documents he found there told everything. For one thing, Traneeneh was only Froloc's stepdaughter. One of the neighbors had told me as much.
Mm-hmm. Is this true, Miss Traneeneh?
Oh, my most humble pardon, Sabaya Bay. Did you speak?
Did I? Oh, continue, Jordan.
Well, Traneeneh inherited a sizable fortune through her mother, who is now dead. Naturally, Frolic was named as her guardian and the executor of her estate. What she didn't know was that Frolic had misused her money, business ventures and so on. And her fortune was gone. Now he didn't dare let her marry or come of age when she would surely demand an accounting. Well, Frolic had made a big speech about how he'd wanted Traneeneh to marry. I wondered then why he hadn't matched her up long ago. She must be nearly 21.
Oh, just a moment, please. Miss Traneeneh, when is your 21st birthday?
Oh, why, it's on the morrow. I had forgotten.
My sweet, I will buy you a gift of the purest silver.
Gerard.
Go on, Jordan.
Well, you see, Sam, he had to act quick. He hired Bantar to take her out and kill her. But Bantar fumbled the job. That's when I saw them last evening, and he hesitated and hit her. In the meantime, Frolic was putting on a big act about her disappearance.
But she was in Frolic Bay's house when you found her.
Oh, sure. When Bantar learned I was passing around his description, he got smart, and after dark tonight, secreted her back to Froloc's house and dumped her right in his lap.
I see. So the Bay was posed with a problem. What to do with her now that she realized what was happening?
First, he tied up Traneeneh in a room, and went after Bantar, both through anger and the fear of what Bantar knew. He killed him.
It is now quite clear why the Bay wished that no one enter his house, not even professional mourners. It appeared strange that he had sent even the servants away.
Yeah. Lucky I got back there in time.
Indeed it is. Traneeneh, are you aware that you are without funds? That you now have nothing?
But do I not have Gerard? I have everything, Sabaya Bay.
Gerard, do you still wish to take Traneeneh as wife?
But of course. With my own hands, I will slave for her. I will give her all the good things in life. That is as it should be.
Gerard, my husband-to-be.
Traneeneh, my sweet.
You see, Jordan, people do not always marry for money. Sometimes they marry for love.
For the finest in tomato flavor, enjoy the whole family of Del Monte tomato products.
Del Monte catsup and chili sauce.
Del Monte tomato sauce and canned tomatoes.
And Del Monte tomato juice.
Remember, buy wisely. Buy for flavor. Buy Del Monte. Del Monte, the brand you trust for flavor in so many good foods. Rocky Jordan, written by Gomer Cool and Larry Roman, stars Jack Moyles in the title role with Jay Novello as Sam Sabaya, and is produced and directed by Cliff Howell, with original music composed and conducted by Richard Arunt. Remember, you have a date next week at the Cafe Tambourine, run by Rocky Jordan. Same time, same station. And the story is The Diorite Bowl. There is nothing more inviting, no cool dessert so flavorful as Del Monte crushed pineapple, heaped generously over your favorite ice cream or sherbet. Del Monte crushed pineapple, the brand that always puts flavor first. Now, before we sign off, we want to remind you this year, more than ever before, your local community chest needs your support. Give generously. Everybody benefits when everybody gives. Larry Thor speaking. Rocky Jordan is presented over CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Hi, this is Andrew from OTRWesterns.com. I wanted to invite you to come take a look at our site where we put out podcasts of old-time radio westerns. Check us out at OTRWesterns.com. You're listening to The Great Detectives of Old Time Radio with Adam Graham. Now let's get back into the show.
Welcome back. Well, a very sweet ending, and I thought an interesting premise because it highlights some of the challenges of living as a guest in a foreign country and wanting to be helpful and do the right thing, but also not wanting to get yourself into far more trouble than you can possibly get yourself out of. And it's a tough situation. I will say that I didn't care too much for the way that Jordan got the final clue, because essentially he just had somebody who hadn't been at the story at all come by and give him the clue, feed him the clue that was the key to the entire case. And we'll start with this from Con, who I misidentified as Abdor at the start of the program. He had sent along a donation. He said, "Hello, Adam. My name's Con, and I'm one of your great fans. I live in Cardiff, Wales. Just wanted to let you know you're doing a great job. My favorite is Philip Marlowe, Gerald Moore, and yours truly, Johnny Dollar. I've been through depression in life, and I found out about your detective series. And by God, it helped like a remedy. Listening to the adventures of Philip Marlowe got me through the worst times of my life when I was suffering the most. I'd personally like to thank you for what you're doing and keep it up." Thanks, Adam. Wow. Thank you so much, Connor. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad the program was able to be of help. And then we have this email from Joe, who writes, "I'm a 100% disabled veteran of 72 years of age and suffer from PTSD. If it were not for the show, it would be more difficult to deal with. I wish you could bring these shows to more veterans, especially the ones in the hospitals and nursing homes for veterans. Thanks for being there for us." Well, thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate your service, and I'd love to find a delivery method for getting these programs to people who, don't have access to the internet. Ideally, not something that would be too time intensive and something that would be inexpensive for the folks who would want to hear the programs. So far, I've not come up with any satisfactory ideas. I asked Andrew Rhines, and he didn't have any ideas, so I'll continue to be open to further options on that. But thank you so much. I really appreciate your kind message, Joe. And again, so glad to be a help. Well, now we have a couple weeks worth of comments on Rocky Jordan, and we start with episode 2641. Bill writes in, Graham Bay, I have to agree with you about Sergeant Greco. He always seemed to be underhanded and not above doing anything to get ahead. The only thing he tries hard at is to get ahead. And then Bill also shared some insight on episode 2747. This one, the man with no name. Bill writes, Effendi, you ask why someone who wanted to be alone would be drinking at the Tambourine, and I have an answer, being a former bar owner and someone who has drank alone at times. It's not about being cut off from other people, but not being disturbed. Sometimes you want to be among people, but left alone while engaging in thoughtful contemplation or while people watching. The constant interruption by a bartender or wait person can ruin your experience. Well, thanks for that insight, Bill. And then we have a tweet from Lukey who writes, Sam Sabaya from Rocky Jordan reminds me of Lieutenant Lou Escobar from the film Chinatown. I find the characters have a similar feel to them. Well, thanks so much. Appreciate that. All right, well, that will do it for today. A reminder, our listener support campaign continues, and you can support the show on a one-time basis, support.greatdetectives.net. And with a donation of $125 or more, we'll be happy to send you some of the new Jim French Productions CD sets released by Radio Spirits, with 2 sets featuring Harry Nile, and a great set called The Investigators, which actually features multiple detectives that Jim French Productions created, including some Harry Nile episodes, as well as Hillary Kane and Dameron. A full list of available thank you gifts are available at support.greatdetectives.net. Join us back here tomorrow for Boston Blackie, and next Wednesday we'll be back with another episode of Rocky Jordan. In the meantime, send your comments to box13 at greatdetectives.net. Follow us over on Twitter at Radio Detectives and become one of our friends on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Detectives. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.